It's Saturday, April 23rd, 2022. I'm watching, there's something that's stuck with me. When watching the weather, I noticed that the arrows that the weatherman, like behind them, they sometimes dart one way, sometimes they dart another way. And then I started noticing that they clump and then they start to spin. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that looks really dangerous. I mean, in a context of timing mechanic, in the electrolytes inside of, rudimentary terms, blood pipes, but like inside your veins, your arteries, your capillaries, your arterioles, your venules, and so on and so forth. Even in the lymph system, if the outer energy outside the body is flowing in a direction that's counterintuitive, like, and then starts to behave in some spin, in some metric that could put damaging forces on your anatomy and your physiology. Theoretically, if that's what it is representing. Even if, for their purpose, if it represents something different, because they don't explain what it represents. With what I'm going through at this level of 4 decades plus 3 years, it feels as though there's more intense scientific evidence of something much more insidious, but an easy surface level way of representing it could be these arrows. Now, here's a for instance. This was Lee Goldberg 2 days ago. This is the Friday through Sunday map. So that's the whole weekend. Now, right here, they cluster, and if I put the picture on moving, it spins. But the arrows are coming up this way, they're coming in this way, they're coming in this way, and then there's arrows coming up this way. Then there's arrows pointed this way. At the same time, it's this way. These are damaging clusters to the biogenics that we wear, almost like a virus. The way that I interpret it is a virus of the atmosphere. Like whatever uses satellite data and timing and programming linked in with our circadian rhythm. There's competing forces, or there's some form of dysrhythmia, and it's no longer symmetric or asymmetric in a correct rationale. And even that word I stay away from because in the irrational realm. But you can see how it is splitting and how it's not. And this is in the Northeast. I mean, here's the bottom triangle, here's the top triangle, and this is where I'm located, right in the center by this Big Apple. We call it Big Apple because I don't want trouble with whatever's held up in the city. But you can see all of these markers or arrows, some overlapping one another, and so on and so forth. Now this is the moving picture, and then I have 2 other days worth of pictorials with something along the same lines.
Beautiful Earth Day, the best of the week. Tricky temperatures over the weekend.
See how this is spinning right here?
Warmer west is the theme. We are at least mainly dry.
Up here it's a little different, but this is my main concern.
Thank you. Well, we are getting a look tonight.
Then if I go to Eyewitness News. Come on.
And also at Lakehurst, a little bit cooler up in the higher
I don't know this
elevations up in
gentleman's
Monticello,
name.
and a
Can't
little bit cooler
remember.
in the far east end of Long Island, 60 degrees at Montauk. But again, this wind is coming in from the north.
But again, watch how it changes now. It's coming this way, which is what he's saying, but then it clumps here. But the clusters are not in this at this time. This satellite radar, it's not, the clumps are not spinning, but there are times where I'm going to put this on moving picture. With me standing so close to the screen, it's hard for me to get them, like, to visually inspect it. I was doing it earlier, but with filming it's a little difficult.
And northwest for the time being. It's a land breeze. It's also a downsloping breeze, and that warms the air up as it comes in off of the mountains. That'll change, though, tomorrow. Be a wind coming in from the opposite direction, coming in from...
Yeah, so here, then this changes. I mean, this is all, like, I talk of it in my physiology right now. I feel like I'm battered. Like, I feel like a battered woman, not by fists with a male attached to them. I'm talking about by physics, like almost like the wind. But it's more than that because it's gravitational force. It's the magnetic pull. It's the ability, if you talk like in puppet theater, like the hand that goes up the back that moves the puppet. It's not interacting properly with the stage that it's on. Here's another cluster that starts spinning. But for this force to come this way now, and then it comes up this way at other times. I mean, I know that I'm pretty sure that someone uses a frictional analysis. I just don't know what they use it for. But right now, it is so painful to live in the Northeast. With an I spine. I don't know if the C spines are feeling it the way that I am. And I don't know what Anthony has, 1975, so I can't even ask him, but he's hurting. I can see he's physically hurting.
From the southeast off the cool waters of the ocean. 7 o'clock in the
Yeah, they
morning, we're
spin
talking
up
about
here.
48 in New York City, and only rising up to about the 60-degree mark tomorrow afternoon. So a good
And
8 to 10
again,
degrees cooler than it...
Then it changes to this weird pattern again, where the arrows are so visibly this way, up this way. They're in a counter, I mean, and then how they're spinning.
And it was today. You will notice more in the way of cloud cover as well.
And here they are starting to form. Here's some here.
And our wind will be shifting in more from a southeasterly direction. There can be a couple of showers in 1 or 2 spots tomorrow night. Doesn't look like a lot.
What it reminds me of is when they talk of a compass and then it loses its magnetic bearing. Almost like it disengages momentarily and whatever. It's some kind of a weak point or a weak spot.
Washout of an evening whatsoever, just a shower in a few spots into early Sunday morning, and then we tend to clear things out during the day. But look, that wind continues in from the east, if anything, during the day Sunday. That will keep Long Island really stuck in the 50s, even down parts of the Jersey Shore, lower 60s in the city. Maybe closer to 70 if we're lucky if you head west of New York City. More clouds everywhere, a cooler day region-wide during the day on Monday, and eventually some of this rainfall will show up, especially by Monday night and into Tuesday.
All right, now if I go to the next, which is tonight, for me in this time period, I'm experiencing within the joint, the joint, which is the articulation, like the interstitial fluid in the articulation of what area known as an elbow, to lift a gallon of milk and to put like as fulcrum pressure, having to use the forearm with a fulcrum and the bicep. I'm having trouble in that range of motion, that ROM. My knees are a whole nother story, but I feel it. It's I saw this word geophone the other day for measuring pressure as the calcaneus actually hits, what the impact is. It's because of the loss of flexibility in my hip joints. It's starting to become more rigid, and my knees are starting to swell. And it's also feeling at the I forget the words for the two articulations at the femur, but it puts undue pressure, and then I have to after my calcaneus hits and goes to my plantar, I have to readjust because the fluid actually cracks, but it feels like the bone cracking almost. I don't know if it's if the gelatin electrolyte portion is too dehydrated or if it's just malnutritioned. I don't know. I'm in the field with no way of testing these things and nobody to look up to ask. And I definitely don't trust the doctors around here.
To Fairfield County, Connecticut as well, and moving across Long Island Sound. And these can move on to parts of Long Island, particularly over Suffolk County during the evening hours. So north and east of the city in particular, do not be shocked
So this
to see
is
a spotty
tonight.
shower during the
See
evening
how they
hours.
start moving?
Tonight, we drop down to about 52 or so by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning in the city.
And they just keep changing direction.
Maybe just shy of that. But look at that, Sussex getting up to the middle and upper 60s. Meanwhile, eastern Long Island staying in the upper 40s, courtesy of this wind coming in off of the cool waters of the Atlantic Ocean. So the further removed that you are from those cooler waters, the warmer that you're going to get during the day tomorrow. As we head into Monday,
Here goes with,
a wider swath of the region will be cloudier.
look, this
I
is
think
just
give
keeps
us wind
changing
coming from the
direction.
southeast, and that will keep a much larger portion of the area on the coolish side, probably topping off in the upper 50s, maybe sneaking into the low 60s, well north and west. We fast forward.
Look, and again, I don't know, is this what's referred to as portal science? PORTAL? Is that the whatever that's going on with the phone systems and the integrated internet and energy credit things, and then the opening of portals and closing that sometimes disconnects? I mean, it's right over my plumade. À la tête, à la bec, plumade. Those are my 3 words for alouette, gentil alouette, which may not be the correct French version, but for my American whatever, it is perfectly acceptable. Because I've got offshore whatever that looks like a fruit that frightens me on color in having to use English words in a giant has one line, which is fee fi fo fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Right. Or I have to explain what I'm feeling or seeing in some way to get to something to look up to. It's like 6 foot under syndrome everywhere I look. And nobody to even ask questions to of where is this important? I know how important it is to my health and health ministry, but where are they keeping an eye on this stuff? I mean, there's a lot of parts of the earth who tracks this kind of stuff that actually cares that I don't get hurt or sick. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.